Well, there you have it. Today, we are going to be talking about how to look your best on camera for your next Zoom interview or meeting. And it's 10 o'clock on Tuesday. And I think, we're starting to know what that means. And that means it's the Julie Holiday social media show. Hey, it's the Julie Holiday social media show. So glad that you're here with me. And this episode is based more towards the female audience, ladies out there. We're going to talk about the ways in which we can look our best for our next interview or meeting online. So even if you're doing virtual meetings or you have a Zoom call with your family or you get on FaceTime, we're going to go over really the tips and tricks of how to look your best. So I'm kind of dressed, or not dressed, but really the face is just very minimal today because I'm going to be building it with you as we hear from one of the top in the area of Cleveland, Sue Prosser. She is a TV and film makeup artist, incredibly talented. I have worked with her before, and she's going to share her tips. So get your little makeup kit together, okay? Because we can do this together this morning. And it's no secret, that most of us after the pandemic are working more virtually, and that means more meetings online. And so I'm just really excited to have you meet Sue and to go over these tips with you. And so stick around because I'm going to be doing the tips with you. I'm also going to share some go-tos that I do that I think really help present best on camera and also in person too. So without further ado, I want to introduce you to Susan Prosser. She is a makeup artist for media and TV in the Cleveland area. She's been doing it for 22 years. And so let's pop into the interview and then we'll take some breaks and do our makeup together. So again, get your kit. We're going to do it together today. Ladies, this show is for you by popular demand. And let's go ahead and meet Sue. Susan Prosser, she is a professional makeup artist and she specializes in TV, film, and she also gives lessons. And I just want to welcome now Susan to the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, Julie. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here. A lot of us are doing a lot of virtual meetings, Zoom conferences, whatever you've got going, or if you have a social media channel that you have, or you want to be a content creator and you think, how do I look my best for that or look my best in person? So all the things I'm going to share today are things that are going to carry over no matter what you're doing. So the first thing I would recommend, and just as a makeup artist, is I would say you start with a good foundation. So get your skin in good shape. And you don't have to spend $1 million to do that. You don't have to have a complicated routine to do that. I just really recommend, going to the drugstore, getting something that's going to exfoliate your skin a couple times a week. Just get the dead skin off. That'll give you a nice natural glow, which looks great on camera, which looks great in person, whatever you've got going. And then moisturize your skin. That'll really, like I said, that'll really give you a good base, a good foundation. Your skin will have a nice, healthy glow to it. CeraVe has a good line. Neutrogena has a great line. Oil of Olay has a good line. So that's where I would start there. And then as far as makeup goes,
we'll go ahead and just pause right there because what I wanted to share is what I use also. So not only are these drugstore finds, and hey, if you're just tuning in with us, we're going over how to look and feel your best on camera for your next interview or your next Zoom meeting. And so Sue Prosser, she went over really moisturizing, and something that I highly recommend every single day is SPF. So putting sunscreen on your face every single day is something that I recommend. I kind of oscillate between different products, but I really do like, as much as possible. I mean, 100%, let's go. All right, let's tune back in to Sue.
I really like L'Oreal. And by the way, I don't work for any of these companies. I don't sell makeup. I don't, promote things I don't like or use myself. I really like their eye pencils. I really like their eyeshadows. Really like their match foundation. I think it's really economical and does a nice job. It works good on most skin tones. And what I like about L'Oreal too is they have a variety of undertones. So if you have a warm undertone, a cool undertone, a neutral undertone, you'll find a good foundation for about $10. So I would start there.
And hey, so I wanted to share the foundation that I use. And so Sue mentioned a really good water-based. And although this is not water-based, which I'm going to want to do water-based in future, the ELF line you can get at any drugstore. And I find that this one has like a lot of great full coverage. And so I'm going to just put on my little handy dandy headband. And good morning to you again. And I did a little bit of concealer underneath my eyes. I probably need to do a little bit more. And something that I do in the mornings is I put the concealer actually on my hand. I do it just like that. And then because, Sue mentioned having undertones, you can actually add undertones to your makeup. So if you get something like this is just called a BB cream. And I just kind of add, just to make the makeup a little bit more like multi-dimensional, I just add a few different shades in there. So I'll just kind of like put a bunch of different shades. See how it's like a little bit darker and then lighter. Obviously, I'm very, very, very fair skinned. I haven't always been like that. I used to do a lot of tanning and, I have very porcelain like skin. So I don't want to be in the sun too much, but I can kind of fake it, fake it till I make it this morning. So I am going to just mix those two together. I like to use a brush for my foundation. I think it's easiest. And I really just focus on these parts right along here, just like what Sue was saying. We're just going to go ahead and put it right in these spots to really cover up. And so I hope you're doing your makeup with me. If not, it's okay. I also want to give some good interview tips and tricks as we continue on to hear from Sue. Right now, I'm just putting in that really good foundation because we need a good foundation. And really, ELF is totally fine. She also mentioned L'Oreal, which I really would like to get as well. I'm adding it to my little list. It's really great to know that there are affordable makeups out there and we don't have to spend, just a ton of money on the different products, especially when we're experimenting. It's kind of demoralizing when we spend, upwards of $100 on foundation and it's actually like not really worth it, or we're not able to really get the most out of it. So here is our foundation this morning. I put a little bit of eyeshadow on. That's not really a part of the tutorial today. Just make sure if you're getting ready for your interview and it's in person, that you wash your hand off, because sometimes I have like excess foundation on me and it tends to become a problem if I put my clothes on. So just another little tip for you. And luckily I keep tissues nearby. So I'm just going to go ahead and clean that off. And then let's go ahead and hear more from Sue about what our next step is.
And foundation really just evens out your skin tone from here to here. So it just gives you a nice, even finish, which looks good on camera.
So I'm wondering if you could maybe touch a bit more on like what we can do to show up better in these virtual either interviews or even just in like a Zoom call with your family.
Yes.
How can we show up the best?
Right. So once you found your foundation, or if you don't want to wear foundation, that's fine too. You can do a little concealer, because with virtual, you're getting shadow. Like right now I'm in a room that doesn't have a lot of light, it's not great. So it casts shadow. And so you want to negate that as much as possible. So what you're going to do is you're going to just try to negate what the lighting's going to do. So if it's going to cast shadow and add shadow here, you want to get a good concealer. If you don't want to use foundation, you don't have to. Just get a good concealer. But you want to put the concealer here and here, right there, and where your tear duct is, because that is really dark and shadowy. And then when you get on a Zoom call, it'll look even more dark and more shadowy, and it'll make your eyes look like they're, back in your head. So put a little concealer here, a little concealer here, blend it out, and it'll combat that Zoom eye,
So let's make sure that I did that. So if we're looking right now again, we're in the middle of our makeup application for our on-air, on-camera interview. And so what I'm going to do is just make sure that I have like this blended out really like by my eyes, because I don't want it to show that shadow like Sue was saying. I definitely don't want that. So I'm just going to go ahead and just pull. A lot of times my foundation brush has excess foundation on it. And so I didn't really add any more, but I'm just making sure that I'm really, really, really blending today. Okay, let's hear more from Sue.
We've all been on the Zoom calls where you think, gosh, I look so tired, or why do I look sullen? You know, and that's just shadow. And also too, another thing that really helps on camera is if you put just a little bit of shimmer eyeshadow or something, not diamondy, not like that, or even a lighter shade. It doesn't have to be shimmery. It can just be a lighter shade of eyeshadow. Just put it right over your pupil, right over your iris there, and it'll pull light to that area. So just putting that, and even lip gloss, like right here and right here, you want something that's going to pull the light towards that area.
You covered. Ooh, I love all this. Okay, so this is something that I love to do as far as I'm going to show you a trick with my lips. Okay, so this is what I want you to take from today too, is like how to, a little bit of a how-to. I have a couple different tips on lips that I've gotten over the years, and one comes from my friend Lolo, who was on the show a couple of weeks ago. With Sue's instruction of the eyes, we'll start there, but we're going to use the same product. So this is the ELF. This is the Camo Foundation. So this is another foundation. And I just got this one in fair, as again, I'm incredibly fair. What she's suggesting that we do is with a very, very light foundation or eyeshadow is to then put it basically right over top of our pupils. So I'm going to go ahead and just put it right over top of my pupil. And I am going to need to blend this, but basically just making like a second eye with it, if you can think of that. And it sounds kind of creepy, but it actually looks really good on camera, and it captures the eye a lot better, and it makes it look and appear a bit bigger. And I put a darker eyeshadow just on the crease line before the video. That way I had that to work off of. And I would highly suggest doing that as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and blend this out. Another interview tip that I wanted to share was if you have an interview in person, when you go there, take your printed resume. I feel that in this age of like, oh, did you get my email? I feel like we should all be allergic to that statement. Like, did you get my email? You need to bring your work, a portfolio or your resume. So just being prepared to do that. And just so you know, the libraries have not free printing, but it's usually about a dime or a nickel to print out pages. And that's an incredible resource to you, especially if you're looking for a job. So going to the library to use their services. Also, FedEx can print, and Marketplace, like Facebook Marketplace for printers and scanners and office equipment, is a wonderful resource. Having those things prepared when you go to your next interview is going to make you stand out, because they can actually take a look at it. They don't have to pull it up on their email. They don't have to scroll through an attachment. They can hold it. They can see, wow, this person has a lot of experience. So your next interview, make sure that you take a printed resume with you. Okay, so with Sue's advice of, the eyeshadow looks pretty okay. Now, there is some shine going on, and we will get there. We're definitely not done. We're in the middle. I'm being very vulnerable with you right now. Sue also had a tip that I love, that I do, which is taking that same light, fair ELF powder and putting it on our lips. So basically what we're going to do is right how we did our pupils, we're going to do that one little spot in the center, just kind of blending a little bit, because to Sue's point, we want the eye on camera and in person to be drawn to the center of the face. Because if you've ever researched, I used to research like what makes someone attractive, like what, or maybe it was like a cosmopolitan article, but it's basically about their symmetry. So I think the best way that we can help with that idea is to help with the center of our focus. So just right here, I'm going to put that product right here. And I love this trick because it adds dimension. And I just put like a 1 shade lipstick on, but it's already giving me dimension. And I did use a liner that is darker. This is my gloss that I'm going to use. It was 99 cents, $1.99, and it's going to add so much shine. And I'm just going to use what Sue said, and I'm going to put it right here on the center and right here. And see how it's already like kind of drawing some shine and hopefully taking away from all the other imperfections. Zoom meetings, but what about meetings in person? Like, how can we look our best in person? Because sometimes like I'll be like, oh, I look great or something. And then I'll look in the mirror and be like, oh my goodness, like when did like this happen? You know, or, you know, there's like little areas that
we've all been there. Not that I'm doubting you, but I've never seen you look bad. So just so you know,
I love you.
But a lot of us just want to get out the door on time. You have to drop your kids off. You have to get to work by 7:30 or whatever. You got to get on the freeway. You know, there's so much going on in our lives. So I say, keep it simple. And it does, like I said, it doesn't have to break the bank. So a couple of things I would say: get the skin, you know, get your skin healthy, just moisturize, sunscreen, exfoliate, you know, wash your face, exfoliate a couple times a week. And that'll give you good, healthy skin. And that'll give you a good base no matter what you choose to do with your makeup routine. Blush is really a good thing on Zoom calls because the lighting is so off on your computer and your camera and all that. So a little blush, and in person too. If I don't put a little blush on, you can't. I just look ill. I mean, I look like, are you not feeling good too?
Don't ever say that to me.
I forgot my blush this morning. Yeah, no, I'm not sick.
How do we apply our blush? Like, how can we make blush look really good?
Yeah, so there is a couple tips I can share. So for on camera or even in person, you can do this trick, or just one half of it. If you want to find blush, here's an easy, quick way to find a good shade for you. And this goes for other things too, like your lips and your skin tone. Look at what color naturally appears in your cheeks. So if you have no makeup on, you stand in front of a nice, you know, window where there's some good daylight. And this sounds weird, but you can even pinch your cheek and see what color appears after a little pinch. You know, I mean, don't hurt yourself, but you just give yourself a little pinch and then just look to see what color naturally comes through after you give yourself a pinch. Or in the wintertime, if you come in from like taking your groceries in and you think you look flushed, or if someone embarrasses you and you blush, just look what naturally occurs there. And that'll be a good indication of a good color for you. You just want to apply it from up just about here, back up to here. A lot of people think blush is meant to give your face shape, or I'm going to use my blush to shape my face. That's not really the purpose of blush. Blush's big purpose is to just add color to your skin.
Let's go ahead and try this one now. So this is the blush portion of our makeup tips for today. And hey, if you're just joining us, you're joining the Julie Holiday social media show. And today we're focused on how to look your best on camera for your next Zoom interview or meeting, or even FaceTime with your family. And we did our foundation. Sue Prosser, she's an amazing makeup artist to the stars, literally. She works in the TV and film industry in Cleveland, Ohio. And she shared that she really highly recommends a foundation that is water-based. And so if you can find a good foundation, she recommended L'Oreal, Neutrogena. Those are going to really be those ones that we can kind of come and get them at drugstores for a fraction of those high-end prices. And so now let's go ahead and try her blush tricks. She was saying basically just right here to here. Now blush is definitely not my strong suit, so I really am having to learn how to do this a lot better. So I got this one is from Sephora. It's heated Number 16, I do like that it's a warm tone. I want to definitely appear a lot more warm, especially like on camera and just in person with people. And so Sue said to just basically go from here to here. So I'm going to also, in my mind, something that I do a lot too is when I'm applying my makeup, I'll think the words that I want it to look like. So I want this to be blended and rounded, blended and rounded. Blended and I feel like just naturally then, or a little bit more, maybe not unnaturally, but my hand just kind of starts to do what my brain is telling it. So blended and rounded. Not bad. Blended and rounded. And this morning when I went ahead and did my, I put a little bit of like an eyebrow pencil on too. And what I'll say while I'm doing it is rounded, rounded, rounded. Because otherwise, like I'll have those real sharp lines and then it looks like I have square eyebrows. And I don't want anyone to think that I have square eyebrows. Blended and rounded, blended and rounded. And this makeup tip comes from my girl, Bethany Kuchana, who is a professional makeup artist in Hollywood. And she now resides in Colorado, but she says to do a big old fake smile. Actually, this isn't fake, this is a real one. And then to do it right on the cheeks. So Sue will also cover that too this morning. And so we'll just add it also to our cheeks, like our cute little Shirley Temple cheeks. And we're blending and we're rounding, blending and rounding. Beautiful. Make sure you blend. And like, let's say like, you're like, okay, I put way too much. I look like a clown. You don't want to look like a clown. A trick there is to take your foundation brush. And this tip comes to us from Daniel Wallace, who is a makeup artist in Orlando, Florida. And you take your foundation brush because it has some of that foundation still. And you just want to edge up. You can just like blend it even more. And then what's really great is you don't have to worry about, well, doesn't it get like different colors on my foundation brush? It's good to have those multi-dimensions. So look, it's just like a beautiful finish. Gorgeous. And why does one side always want to be better than the other? Can someone please tell me about that? All right, let's go ahead and hear from Sue.
I'm on a Zoom call, or if I know I'm going to be working long hours, as you know, you do too. So you can, or you just feel, boy, I just came off the flu, or I just look so washed out, I'm tired. Here's another little thing you can do. Take the same blush brush that you use to apply your blush, and just in the apple, and you can even smile at yourself like this. Right here's your apple of your cheek. You can just take the second color, so just a little bit deeper shade, same color family, and you're just going to take and just put just a little bit right on the apple, and then blend it out with that big powder brush we talked about earlier. And that'll give you just a little bit of pop, but it'll still look natural. You won't look, like you got porcelain doll cheeks.
Well, you're a rock star. Thank you so much for joining us and just for all of your tips. We appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. I had so much fun. It was great seeing you too.
Well, just a huge thank you to Sue Prosser. She was our makeup star today, and she helped us get on camera ready for our next interview. So, hey, if you liked this topic, if you liked the show, we would appreciate a thumbs up just for, knowing what you like. And I hope you have a wonderful day. I'm Julie Holiday. And hey, when it comes to your dreams and your visions of what you'd like to do, sometimes just showing up is half the battle. And so set your timer, put 10 minutes on the clock and just do some minutes, because some minutes is better than no minutes. So I hope you have a wonderful day and that you look good for all of your interviews and online meetings today. See you next week, Tuesday at 10.